Hey, Coach, talking with Coach Klaus, and she really complimented, the culture that, you're establishing here, but some of that takes time. Mm-hmm. So what do you feel like is something that, you're seeing day to day that might not be reflective in the box score, in the wins and losses, and in the little Doppler line that you might see, night after night when people find a result?
It's just a team that's competitive, a team that plays really hard. I think, today we kind of answered the bell of how hard we wanted to play and we wanted to compete. And I know obviously not the way we wanted to start, spot them 10 points. But in the first half, right, they've got 2 offensive. I know they missed 11 shots, but they got 2 offensive rebounds. We took the same number of shots. We turned the ball over 9 times. Not great. Wanted to keep the number at 16. We got it to 15. Wanted to keep them at 17 a quarter. We only hit it once, but we were pretty close in the third and fourth quarter. So just little things like that, that we talk about inside of our locker room and every single day in practice. I know we want immediate success here as a program, but I do think we're taking the steps that we've needed to take to get us back. I talk to Coach Curry all the time, and she's like, KG, she's like, Kate, kind of like that. But it took me 9 years to get it turned around here. You got to stay with it. You got to trust your process. Talk to Coach Payne a lot, and he's like, you keep doing what you think is best for Purdue, and you do exactly that, and it'll find its way to where it's supposed to go. And so 2 people I lean on heavily in that regard, and I'm very fortunate and lucky there. Corey's somebody that I got a lot of respect for the way she's built things up at UCLA, and I hope she finds a way to, join us as the only Big Ten team to win a national championship. I got a lot of respect for who she is and how she builds her program.
Lana McCarthy, candle per year. I mean, talk about a learning experience. What do you take away from your freshman having to guard the
best post player in the country?
I was going to talk
probably about national player of the year, right? She's that good. It's like Zach Edey, right? You game plan everything around her, and the other kids come in and make shots. But those 2, Kendall's weird. KP and Lana, they battled. They didn't back down. They were trying to be physical, trying to push her off the block, and I'm proud of that. They got, maybe we play some really good post players in the Big Ten, but not anyone like that.
All right, and just with what you saw from McKenna and from Rashanda tonight, I mean, both off the bench, Rashanda being a playmaker, 7 assists as well, and then the 3-pointers being hit from McKenna. What do you feel like has been the biggest change you've seen out of her to really get some of those minutes and hit those shots? Yeah,
Spider, 8 points, 7 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 steals. Pretty good, actually really solid minutes. It's her. It's always about just staying mentally locked in and trying to step outside from being a scoring guard and being the point guard and being the communicator on the floor, making sure we don't miss any of those errors. But she had a very solid floor game. Played really hard. Kenna is somebody who's battled through a lot of injury for us. The last 2 years. And found a way to maybe manage some of that pain and push through it. She's not playing out there without any pain, but she's pushing through it. And she's smart, right? Plays, has great length, uses her body well, follows the game plan to, almost exactly to a T. And, she's practiced really, really well here the last week. And, thought she looked confident at Michigan State, and then responded with some really good practices. She's someone who's going to help us, stretch the floor. She's always moving on offense, hunting down shots, moves appropriately for us. And she did a good job, trying to execute the game plan on the defensive end.
It's hard to do, obviously, but how do you prepare your team, a young team, for the intensity it's going to face in a game like this in those first couple of minutes? Obviously, the Bruins sort of blitzed you. and then the timeout settled you down a little bit. But it's a hard thing to
No
to
doubt.
prepare them
Yeah,
for.
it is tough. And over break here, we haven't had really all of our practice guys too, and trying to simulate their length, and what they do. And it was tough. But I thought that start was pretty self-inflicted. We run a set. We slip Reagan out of it, but she doesn't get eyes on it. Amaya throws it out of bounds. Amaya pushes the ball up the sideline when Dez is being guarded. Alana misses a layup at the rim. The turnover by Amaya, the live ball turnover, and then the missed layup at the rim led to 6 points, right? 2 wide open threes. And we talk about, we can't have live ball turnovers and we can't take shit shots at the rim to lead to transition. Sorry, Ian. But that's the verbiage we use, right? Like, we just can't take bad shots at the rim, especially against this team, right? We have no chance to get out in transition and set our half court defense. So pretty self-inflicted there, unfortunately. But the timeout did settle us down, and I thought Spider coming in, really kind of, more so changed the course and gave us some confidence on the offensive end.
I think, how do you gauge the fight
Yeah.
from your team that maybe you didn't see when you got down at Michigan State?
Well, the second half at Michigan State, we saw that fight, right? We saw that fight. The first half, absolutely not. You gauge it by, you see Kenna rip the ball out of somebody's hands. I hadn't seen that. You saw Sophie sprint from one side to the other floor to come up with a loose ball. And I don't think I've ever seen Des jump on the floor. I don't know that she jumped, but her knees hit the floor on a loose ball, right? Only giving up 2 offensive rebounds in the first half. Just that. That's the fight, right? Spider keeping her dribble alive until she knew what she was doing, what she was going to do with it. Kenna, Mari, Reagan, everybody on the perimeter moving off of drives, throwing the ball into the post and doing what we were supposed to do, throwing it back into Lana, getting a kick out. That's the fight, and that's the focus that we've been working on very hard all year, and it hasn't translated to wins. Maybe that's because of who we've been playing, or whatnot. But we talk about like filling our bucket with us getting better, and there's going to be a time when that bucket overflows and we find ourselves with wins.
Yet your team had a players-only meeting and
Yeah.
a meeting with you, and just what did you see tonight?
Everything we just talked about. Their willingness to be great teammates, their willingness to hold each other accountable. Most of the time when I came to the timeout today, they were talking to each other very constructively, and it wasn't personal. It was it was like, hey, you do this, you got me here. Just just basketball talk and being there for each other in the appropriate way, and understanding that it's hard for us right now, but we are getting better, and that's what we're going to keep pouring into our group, and they're going to keep believing it, and I truly believe that there's going to be a time when it goes in our favor.
Why no Jordan tonight?
Yeah, honestly, just a really bad matchup. Just length. We want to switch 1 through 4. Today, it thought it gave us the best chance, and watching them, what they do to her, and bring her to the block. She's battling. Same thing with Amaya too. Like, both of them have some shin stuff. So if we could rest her just a little bit more. Ella plays a little bit there, but sit her the whole almost the whole second half a little bit. Just kind of managing those things, and Kenna stepped up and took advantage of the opportunity. Mari played really hard. It's probably the hardest and smartest I've seen Sophie Swanson play for us in a long time. So, Jordy hasn't done anything wrong. She's gonna get her opportunities, and she's gonna be ready.